Hi everybody and welcome to SA Rugby Magazine. I've got Mark Keohane, and Mark, let's chat, let's get straight up. Welcome.
Thanks, Kev.
And let's get talking about the British Lions. A lot of misconceptions or false rumors out there about ticket pricing for the upcoming tour. Hopefully you can clear that up for us today and give us exactly what the ticket's going to cost and how to get them. And
yeah, well, finally, good news is finally Yuri Roo, SARu Chief Executive, he announced that the ballot will be the 2nd of September, and the ballot will run from the 2nd to the 16th. And it's also
ballot. What do you mean?
It's the accepted norm of showing ticket interest. They do it at the Olympics, the Rugby World Cup. It's that no one is prejudiced. So you apply for tickets. You're allowed to apply for at least 8 tickets a match. Doesn't mean you're going to get them. The computer then spits out an algorithm, and it's also one way of ensuring that no one's coming in and trying to buy bulk tickets and then sell them illegally. So that's what's primary to the ballot. It's the fairest way to assess someone's kind of right to a match, and to give everyone a chance. And then what happens post the ballot is they kind of then the computer spits it out and says, you applied for 8 tickets, you can only get 4, or you can only get 2, you can only get 6. Do you accept that? And there could be a category, then you ask for a higher category or a lower category. So there is that option available as well. So that is the ballot. It runs in South Africa from the 2nd to the 16th. It also runs in the UK and Europe from the 2nd to the 16th, but on the lions.com, where in South Africa it's the Lions Tour 2021.co.za, and every South African resident here has to register and kind of work through the ballot. It's the only way to get to get tickets is going to be through the ballot. There's no going to a CompuTicket, there's no going down to grounds. It has to work through the ballot. And I think that's been part of the big education process. But finally, they've announced...
Is this the first time it's been done like this?
It's the first time it's been done in South Africa, yeah. And that's the magnitude of the tour. And they're looking at it as 8 matches, 8 occasions, biggest rugby extravaganza in the world in 2021, and probably second only obviously to the Olympics in 2021. But it's the biggest sporting event in South Africa since 2010. And there's going to be 30,000 traveling Lions fans. One of the big misconceptions is that we got a situation whereby it's just going to be dominated by that red tide, as happened with the cricket when the Barmy Army came over. But the majority of the tickets can only be purchased by South African residents in the South African territory, and there's only X amount that has gone over to the UK, which will speak to those traveling supporters. But if you're South African, if you can part with some money, there is the opportunity. And the way they've done the ticketing structure for the first time as well is they've gone with a 4-tier structure, and very different to the midweek games, to the matches against the 3 Super Rugby sides, and the 3 tests, obviously. And it will, outside of a warm-up game, it will be the first time the world champion Springboks play in South Africa, and they're effectively playing against the 2 teams they knocked over in the semi-final and final. So you're looking at those midweek games from as little as $100 per person up to $500, and then the Super Rugby games, the most expensive ticket is $600. Cheapest is $250, and in the test matches, entry level is at $500, up to 1, 2, up to 2, up to 3. So there is that tier category, and I think people need to also accept it's commercially got to be successful for South African rugby and for the Lions, and especially in this country, this is the tour that's going to be the financial kind of bloodline over the next 5 to 10 years when it comes to funding South African rugby, especially post-COVID. But the structure has been worked out that there is a huge opportunity for South Africans to experience the Lions and also experience the world champion Springboks. And their big thing also was, I know from their planning, if you can't make it to a test match, and only X amount of people can make it to those test matches, how else do you immerse yourself in the tour or feel that you were at the Lions then? And they had to make that affordable and accessible to South Africans. And you know, it's I think it still gives you currency with a weak South African rand, as opposed to the initial fear was we'd never get a ticket because the pound rand conversion would mean everyone from the UK would come in and take those tickets. They can't, because you have to be an SA resident and buy the ticket here. And you can also not on-sell your official ticket for anything more than you bought it for. So if through some way you can't actually make it to...
How do they enforce that? Come on.
It's all done through this ballot process. It's all done through...
No, but I mean, if you've got tickets, you're saying you can't sell them.
No, you if you want to resell your ticket,
yeah,
you have to basically give back your ticket, and they resell your ticket. If you
So
sell
you've
your
got to have your ID.
your ID, everything to get into the ground. So if you buy a ticket,
How are they going to do that?
well, that's how they do it they've done it at the Olympics. They do it at the Rugby World Cups, the Soccer World Cups.
This is South Africa, mate.
Well, that's why the ballot has been done like this for the first time. So they're confident that they've kind of finally settled on the structure.
Heaven help an Englishman smoking a cigarette going into the stadium.
So yeah, I think it's a hell of a good news story from accessibility.
Yeah.
And again, you know, we keep on emphasizing this every time we've spoken. The Lions only come around every 12 years. You have, with your Welsh heritage, a strong appreciation of the Lions and just how big they actually are. And they are bringing one hell of a squad with Warren Gatland, also desperate for a win. And so it may be that he hasn't won a game yet by the time he plays the Stormers in Cape Town on the 3rd of July. So
Do you still think he's the right appointment?
Oh yeah, without a doubt for them. And you'll settle into that rhythm with them. I also think the tour structure is amazing, that they start in Cape Town, they go to Port Elizabeth, go to Durban.
Yeah.
Then they play the first test match in front of 85, 90,000 FMB, back to Cape Town, and then back to Ellis Park. And who knows, that could be a 1-1 at the cathedral, the spiritual home of South African rugby in Johannesburg. So I think it's going to be massive. And you know, we were so disappointed when we didn't get the 2023 World Cup, where we had been officially kind of recommended for it, and through the voting process we lost. And there's no way in the current climate that we can even bid for the next 2 World Cups. So this is as big as it's going to get for South African rugby, potentially till the next 12 years when the Lions come again. So I think get behind it, get in there early.
What you're saying is that the Lions will be here twice before we ever consider it.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So and then on SA Rugby magazine, later today, they'll have all the kind of the match schedules, they'll have all the pricings, they'll have all the ticket registrations and kind of the ballot dates and that. So there'll be some great content there by Craig Lewis and the team. Just get in there and read it.
Fantastic. Thanks for that, Mark. I'm definitely looking forward to the British Lions. I'm not convinced on Gatland being the coach anymore, but we'll soon see how he does.
Well, I think that first one in Cape Town is just going to be massive. Just against, it'll be the first time there's an international match played at the Cape Town Stadium, and it's the DHL Stormers, first time in their history they play against the Lions. So there's a lot of history making in this tour, and kind of a lot about the future. And I just think I was excited about it post the World Cup, but given that we've had no rugby this year and it's going to be a watered down rugby championship, to have some of those players, and there's some wonderful players from Wales, Ireland, England, and a couple from Scotland, to have them here, I think we're in for a huge treat.
I couldn't agree more, Mark, and I really look forward to it. I'm sure the fans out there are looking forward to it. So get to SA Rugby magazine, have a read on the tiers and clear up any confusion or misconceptions you might have, and get on the ballot if you want to watch the games. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks.